going as we start to wrap things up here on episode number 97 of Stats Over Politics. Guys, we got to preview the best coast, which is the West Coast, with the Western Conference Finals. We see Kevin wearing the Timberwolves jersey as they take on the Mavericks. And I will go first on this one because this is really interesting.
It is.
Kevin, could you show us the jersey that you're wearing one more time and just do a quick spin so we can see who's on the back? Oh, okay. D'Angelo Russell from the Ohio State University. And when the Minnesota Timberwolves had a starting lineup of D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Karl Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert, this is last year, they were the worst lineup in the NBA with a minimum of 100 minutes on the floor together. You replace D'Angelo Russell. I love D'Lo. I'm not trying to slander him, but that's ultimately the way this is going. But you replace D'Angelo Russell with another point guard from the Ohio State University, Mike Conley, and suddenly the Timberwolves find themselves in the Western Conference Finals. I think that's important to note. All of that said, I got the Timberwolves winning this series in 6 games. I'm going to go T-Wolves in 6. I almost went 5, but I'm going to show the Mavericks some respect. I kept mentioning those stats in the last round of Luka Doncic after a playoff loss. So I'm going to show the Mavericks a little respect. I give the Mavericks a couple games. Kyrie obviously needs to step it up and not be what he was in the semifinals. But, I mean, I'm jumping on the bandwagon too, guys. The Wolves are back. I'm happy to see the Wolves succeeding as a Kings fan after our 2 franchises were so bad for so long. But I got the Wolves in 6. I feel confident in that pick. Toddy, where do you got this series going?
I think this series goes 7 games. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. Ant's going to, do what he does. I think a lot of people are kind of underestimating how good Luka is. Luka kind of willed this team to a 6-game victory over the number 1 seed, OKC Thunder. I think Kyrie Irving is going to play a lot better than he has than he played previously. I think we'll still see the same PJ Washington that we saw in the last series as well. Derek Lively is going to be going to have to step up as well because he is going up against a glass cleaner in Rudy Gobert, and it's going to be tough because the Timberwolves have a lot of guys that can kind of like guard Kyrie and that could guard Luka on a night-to-night basis. And Anthony Edwards can definitely get some minutes against Luka at some point in time if need be, because we saw him in the fourth quarter in the last series, obviously, which was last night against Jamal Murray. In the second half, he only had 11 points compared to the 5 that he had in the first half. So I think the Wolves probably end up winning in 7 games, and that's tough for me to say because I think Luka's going to have he's probably going to average like 35 in this series. Kyrie's going to have to average north of 25 points per game in this series, and PJ will probably average somewhere around 18, 19 points a game in this series, which is solid. I think the advantage that the Wolves have is defense on the perimeter and being able to rebound. I feel like that's going to be huge for them in this series. So, I have the Wolves winning in 7 games.
All right, Kevin, we see the jersey. You got the Wolves too?
Wolves back, baby. And, this has been a great run, Dallas. You did your thing. You made it this far 2 times in 3 years, but this is where the train ends. Take it Timberwolves in 5. We've seen Kyrie kind of just play hit or miss. We've seen the PJ Washington insanity run kind of teeter into the end. Kyrie hasn't been playing well. Luka's been playing through an injury. Are we going to get what Daniel Gafford are we going to get? Derrick Jones Jr. won them a game by shooting 8 for 8. He ain't never done that in his career. So I think the Timberwolves are playing at a level right now that is unmatched. We saw that Lou Dort in the first 2 games really wore down Luka. And now you're going from Lou Dort, the Dort chamber, to Jaden McDaniels and Nikhil Alexander Walker. Anthony Edwards, Nas Reed, like they have defenders on defenders on defenders that are going to be able to come in and really go toe-to-toe for them. Now, and if Kyrie plays the way he's been playing, they're not going to have a single chance in this series. If we can get the Luka Doncic that, misses a shot, gets fouled, and just runs back on defense, maybe Wolves in 6. But if we get the Loca that sits there and complains and bitches at the ref and cries,
Yeah, he can't do that this year.
yeah, he can't do that. Jason Kidd says, it kills him. You're playing 4-on-5 and you're sitting there back, like they're not gonna. This isn't the NFL. They're not gonna review it and go backwards and give it to you. Like that's not how the world works. Like the play is moving on. You sitting here going back and forth with the ref isn't gonna change anything. And we've seen Anthony Edwards have 2 bad games, and the Timberwolves still win. We have yet to see the Mavericks win when Luka plays bad. So we might see a bad game coming, and if Kyrie's only putting up 9 points, could get ugly. I know everyone's saying Kyrie's the last of a living breed. All the veterans that are no longer in the playoffs. Kyrie leads the pack. He was a locker room cancer. He did this, he did that, and now he's here. So, Kyrie, congratulations. But like I told Tiny, this is not the Cleveland Cavaliers Kyrie Irving. He is not walking through that door. Wolves in 6, or a full in 5, excuse me. Timberwolves in 5.
I like Wolves in 5. I wanted to go Wolves in 5. I just wasn't bold enough to do it. So we got Wolves in 5, 6, and 7. We'll find out who Garry has, and we will update social media accordingly.